Well, here we are. Post-game podcast reaction to the Colts game, Week 11 of the NFL. Titans go down 24-17. It's hard to kind of wrap everything up here. There's a lot of disappointing things to talk about.
It is. Let's point out that that's the 11th time in a row that the Colts have now beaten the Titans. We've never beaten them in Lucas Oil Stadium, and Andrew Luck has never lost to us.
It's so frustrating. It's so terrible.
A lot of humps there that we couldn't get over.
Yeah, and it hurts even worse when you look at this season and you can see our team, the Titans, look like we're better. We are a team on the rise. The Colts have been regressing for the last 2, maybe 3 years. I know they didn't make the playoffs last year. Playoff hopes are slim for them this year, but it is the NFL, and Andrew Luck is a great quarterback, so he could carry them once again into the playoffs. But the point is, they're a team regressing, we're a team on the rise, and we still cannot get over this hump. That is the Indianapolis Andrew Lucks. I'm going to re-nickname them the Andrew Lucks because he is dragging that team everywhere that they go.
The Andrew Lucks would be a better name than the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
Little baby ponies. I mean, but we can't beat those little baby ponies. They stomp all over us.
The baby ponies are tough. I feel like at this point now, this has to be like a mental thing. Like there's some mental issue or curse happening with this Colts team. Every time we step onto the field, we see those little pony jerseys and we cower and shake in fear because we're like, oh no, here we go again. The Colts, we cannot beat this team for whatever reason, and it's incredibly frustrating.
It is. We went to the game yesterday.
We did.
Me, Justin, and Amy drove up to Indianapolis, went to the game, thought it was going to be exciting, and were proven wrong first quarter and a half.
Right.
Luckily, the game did become exciting, but I was really starting to doubt our decision when we were down 21-0 about going. But we got to check out Lucas Oil Stadium firsthand, got to see the Colts in their home field, check out the Indy fans in the Indianapolis city, and watch the game live, even though it was away. So,
yeah. A cool experience going to an away game, just regardless. I mean, it is the depths of hell for a Titans fan being in Lucas Oil Stadium.
We went to hell and back, and
we survived.
We did survive. Props to all the Titans fans who did make the journey, or if you're living in Indianapolis and you're a Titans fan, because I saw several Titans fans here and there scattered throughout the sections. We'll always give you guys a fist pump or a represent, tighten up. It was nice to see that. Nice to see other fellow Titans fans supporting our team at away games.
Yeah, very good to see. We actually had a Titans fan sitting right in front of us.
We did.
And then a couple rows back behind us.
A couple rows there in front of us too. There was like 3. So they were all around. So good to see our team represent and traveling, because I don't think we're known as a team that travels well, even though we're pretty new to the league. Newer team in the last 20 years. Yeah. But let's get straight down into the breakdown. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Hit me with your thoughts, man.
General overall analysis is, of course, the slow start. That was the trend, and we could not overcome that horrible slow start. Now, this is how you do not start a game, not just any game, but one of the biggest games this team has had in years, trying to get over this hump that is the Indianapolis Colts, with the division still very much up in the air. With all of that on the line, here's how we start this game. We get the ball first, 3 plays, punt. They get the ball, 8 plays, touchdown. We get the ball back, 3 plays, punt. Ooh. We give them the ball back, 7 plays, touchdown. We get the ball back. We ripped off 5 plays on this drive, but we punted again. Give the ball back to them. Gave the ball back to them. 9 plays for 80 yards and a touchdown. They gave the ball back to us. 6 plays, punt. So it's 21-0 at this point. Then they had that drive at the end where they drove down the field. They were a Dwayne Allen dropped pass from probably going up 28-0.
Yeah.
They dropped that first down pass, so they went for the field goal, and very surprisingly, Adam Vinatieri missed it, which was his first miss in 44 tries?
44 tries, which was a record. So if there's any positive to take away from this game, is that we ruined Adam Vinatieri's record.
Hate that, Vinatieri.
Sorry, man. Got nothing against you, but sorry that you had.
Well, you
your
play
streak.
for the Colts.
Yeah,
I mean that's pretty bad.
But your streak had to end against the Titans.
Yeah.
So I
big,
guess
big win for us there.
Big win. That definitely changed the momentum of the game.
So yeah, I mean it did. It did kind of open up a little window for us because we did get the ball back after that missed field goal. Finally managed to score. Touchdown, put points up on the board, 21-7.
It was like the first thing that went right for us, had gone right for us that whole day so far. Like it just been abysmal, but
it was bad. And we've started to grow accustomed to this. We've had many games where we would get down and then fight back and get back in the game. And this was another example of that, but it's also an example of us not being able to put together a full game in a big game. And it was especially frustrating how we had put up 35 straight points in the previous 3 games, and we go into Indianapolis, who has a worse defense than any of the 3 defenses that we played the previous 3 weeks, and we can barely get a touchdown on the board before the first half is over. That makes no sense to me. They have a terrible defensive line. One of our strengths should be our offensive line, and they still were pushing us around in the first half. And then on the opposite side of the ball, they supposedly have a horrible offensive line, and the strength of our defense is our front 7, and we managed to sack Luck twice, and anytime we put pressure on him, we just couldn't contain him. He was able to scramble away and make a play down the field.
Most notably on that last 3rd and 7 that sealed the game to T.Y. Hilton. Andrew Luck was able to scramble out of pressure, hit him for the first down, sealed the deal. We were out of timeouts, but he did that multiple times, throughout the day, like you mentioned. Was just getting away from our pressure. We did get, Derek Morgan did have 1.5 sacks and 6 quarterback hits, but we only, caused 2 sacks on the days. And
big game, from Derek Morgan. He was consistent. We just had a lot of players that I feel like underwhelmed or underperformed today. I mean, again, with our slow start, somehow we cannot run the ball against this Colts defense that gets run on, and other teams easily can put points up against them and put up big yardage against them. But again, for the second time this year, our running game was even less effective, I feel like. I mean, we did
the first time?
Than the first time, because DeMarco Murray broke 100 yards the first game. He got 70 this game.
We didn't even break 100 yards as a team this time. Finished with 97 yards. Mariota had 5 rushes for 29 yards. Valentino Blake, 1 rush for -2, so thank you for contributing there. Let's not even get started on Valentino Blake right now, but back they did. They shut down our run game.
They shut down our run game. We had to once again call on Mariota to bring our team back from the depths of defeat, and we got close at times. I mean, we ended up losing by 7 points. He was able to put together a couple drives in the second half. But as good as Mariota played in this game, through the air, making plays for us, keeping us in this game, I felt like he could have made a few better decisions as far as scrambling and running the ball, because I feel like there were multiple times, at least 2 or 3 times, where there was a lane opened up and he had an opportunity to go get some yards, but instead he tried to force a throw that ended up being incomplete. I don't know. His scrambling ability, he seemed a little bit off in his pocket presence, I feel like, when the pressure was on. They ended up sacking Mariota 5 times.
With a weak front 7.
With a weak front 7. I feel like that is more on the offensive line than Mariota's lack of escapability.
Taylor Lewan gave up his first sack on the season. Hadn't given one up all year.
Didn't Jack Conklin too?
Jack Conklin gave up a sack this game. I mean, pretty much the whole front line gave up a sack because they got 5 sacks. But back to Mariota's pocket presence. I liked his patience in the pocket. I think, we're obviously seeing him grow and come along as a QB, especially within the last month and a half, 2 months. He's really come along.
Yep.
Leader in the AFC in touchdown passes. And it's funny, in our preview episode, we actually gave the edge to Mariota over Andrew Luck, even though everyone knows what Andrew Luck's capable of. And I think what you pointed out was, as we were watching the game, was very obvious difference between a young quarterback in Mariota, who's getting there, who's coming along, versus a more established Andrew Luck, was the pocket presence and the pocket awareness. And, Andrew Luck's definitely not near as athletic or mobile or fast as Mariota. But that didn't matter because the man's pocket awareness is top notch.
Mm-hmm.
Was able to step into the gaps, move, avoid pressure, and then extend the play and keep his eyes downfield and hit the man. Where Mariota, once the pocket started to collapse, he did. He kind of panicked, kind of pressure, felt the pressure, didn't know where to go with the ball, ended up taking some bad sacks here and there. Namely, one drive where we finally actually, before we had points, we actually did move on to their side of the field, got in the field goal range, all of a sudden got knocked back, 2 sacks back-to-back, pushed us out of field goal range. We ended up punting. So definitely something where you could see Mariota's, the age difference because he is a young QB, something he's going to have to work on. He's been tearing it up, but this was definitely, I think, kind of an eyesore for us at the game, especially watching Andrew Luck on one side with the ball do it to perfection the whole day, and then seeing Mariota time after time just not step into the right gap, not step up in the pocket when he needed to, not avoid pressure when he could. And he was pretty easy to bring down for a lot of the Colts players, I thought a few of the sacks I thought he'd be able to get out a few of those sacks. And
especially Robert Mathis' sack, I think.
Sacked him from the ground.
We pushed Robert Mathis to the ground. He was falling, and Mariota just kind of ran into his arms and went down. So you'd like to see a little stronger of, escapability like that, but I don't know. I guess we're kind of being picky about it because Mariota did play really well.
We're being picky about it because he's come on super strong this year, and he did play a good game. I mean, he didn't make any mistakes.
Didn't turn the ball over.
Did not turn the ball over, which has been huge. He's not been, besides the San Diego game, he has definitely cleaned that up from the beginning of the season. Normally when that happens, the offense clicks. Especially the deep ball to Tajay Sharp, one of his best passes of the year. Beautiful drawn play, beautiful pass, beautiful read. And I think he made great passes all day and great decisions. And he did. He had 5 scrambles for almost 30 yards.
See, I feel like if he wanted to have a big rushing day, he could have. Like, he doesn't, like, what did he have, 29 rushing yards? That's actually probably well above his average in rushing yards per game. But, I feel like he had a lot more opportunities to get a lot of rushing yards in this game, but he was, like we just talked about, he was looking to pass, prefer trying to squeeze the ball in there and getting more yards down the field.
He was hesitating a lot, and I saw him double clutch a few throws that that went over his receiver's head or something, just double clutching, hesitating in the pocket, looking kind of uncomfortable, and I think it kind of draws back to the whole mental thing.
Yeah.
It looked like from the onset, the team was just like mentally just kind of like rattled from the very first snap. We won the toss and we took the ball, and it's like, man, we're not ready to play. It's like we're scared of these little weak ponies, and we couldn't do it. And I think it is just becoming a mental thing. It's like we know we're a better team. It's just that point where all it takes is we have to out execute them, and yet we can't do it. We can't do it.
And I feel like our final drive kind of summed up the game and this rivalry and how we cannot get past this, inexplicably cannot get past this hump that is the Colts. Whenever it was the 4th and 1, we bring in our jumbo set, we bring in our heavy guys, our smash mouth dudes, and we give the ball to DeMarco Murray. You expect to pick up that first down whenever we're the 3rd best rushing team in the league. That's our identity. It's what we preach. The Colts have one of the worst bottom 5 defenses in the league, and we can't pick up that last yard. It's just it's just frustrating.
It is that we don't deserve to win if we can't get those tough yards, and we call ourselves a smash mouth team. We said in the preview episode, we said on the way there, I thought the key to the game was going to be, we were a stronger team overall, but I thought especially stronger in the line play, our offensive line and our defensive line, especially taking into consideration the front 7. That's where I thought the kind of the talent disparity was the greatest.
Yeah.
And they played up to our level, if not better, the whole game. Most notably on that 4th and 1, where we couldn't even get a 4th and 1 late in the game.
Like driving. Every time we play the Colts, how they eliminate our strengths. They just take away everything
and maximize our weaknesses to their advantage.
How do they do that? It doesn't make any sense. How is it the game plan? Is it the coaching and the scheme? They just have us figured out and know exactly what we want to do, because we have the weapons, we have the players to beat this Colts team, but it's not working. Whatever we're doing, it's not working out. And just coming right out of the gate and just playing some terrible football. It was probably our worst first half of the season.
Definitely.
Probably our worst half of football on second or first half of football that we played this year.
Back to the game plan, though, since you did mention that. I kind of think, and it is, I think it's something relevant to a division rival, especially you slurping your drink over there, bruh.
It's delicious.
I don't blame you. But something that you expect out of a division rival, especially one that we've had, played for years and years, they're going to know what we're about. They're going to know our strengths and weaknesses. They know our personnel. And so you expect them to have a little more knowledge of being able to game plan us more than like a team outside of our division, like, San Diego or Green Bay like that, or Miami. So I expect that, but we should know the same things about them, and we just can't execute them. I think it just comes down to kind of better game planning and then execution. And both times this year, I remember in the first half, the first game, I thought they just game planned the heck out of us. Like, their game plan was better. They completely maximized our weaknesses and took away our strengths to perfection. And they did it once again in the first half, especially this time around. And then add that on to just our mentality of we can't get over the hump. And all of a sudden, we're down 21-0. Worst start to a game this year.
It's crazy. And I think we did a better job of containing Frank Gore this game, unlike the first game, because he had 18 carries on a 2.8 yard average.
We even did a better job on Luck and T.Y. Hilton, in my opinion, because, honestly, we only gave up 3 points in the second half.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good to a Colts team. If you had told me that the Colts were only going to score 24 points at the end of the game, I thought we would have won based on how our offense was playing, but we just can't start so slow. You spot any team 21 points, whether it's at home, on the road, and it's going to be tough to win in the NFL. You spot a team 21 points on the road against a division rival, and it's almost impossible. And we still almost pulled it back.
Yeah, we had a chance yet again, which is a consistent thing we've seen from the Titans this year, which is still promising, and we say that every time we end a game like this, that it's promising. Like San Diego, we got down early, and that game ended within a one-score game. Raiders was a one-score game after we got down early.
We've been in every game. Every game we've lost, we've fought back if we were down. We've stayed in it.
Texans down 17-0. We came back to tie that one up.
We were down 17-0 against the Colts the first time too, right?
I think so.
I think we were down 14-0 to the Texans and then 17-0 against the Colts. Correct us if we're wrong, but maybe. down a lot. Ended up pulling back.
Why are we starting like this against our division rivals? Like if we're starting like this against the Packers or just a team that's completely random, the Vikings, I don't know. But these are our division rivals. These are the biggest games of the season for any team. For any team, the division games are the ones you need to win. They're the most important games, and we have the worst, slowest starts in these games.
It was extremely heartbreaking
for Jacksonville
to come out and lay an egg like we did, and definitely our biggest game this year, our biggest game within the past 4 or 5 years, I would say, against add on the hump that we haven't beaten this team in the 6 years. We've never beaten Andrew Luck or won at Lucas Oil, and just the pressure that was on this game and the pressure that was on this team. And how we've been playing, I was expecting us to come out and make a statement again, kind of like we did against the Packers.
We did. We made a statement last week. We were all super pumped, and then we kind of just remade a statement again.
Read the statement as like, this team's not there yet. Sorry.
We came back down to earth.
The Colts still have that curse on us. And now, this whole season, we've been Mularkey supporters. And we still are. Even early on when a lot of people were questioning his ability as a coach, questioning Dick LeBeau's ability, all that stuff, knee-jerk reactions saying to get rid of him, that he's not the man for Mariota or this team. And we backed him up. And, I feel like the overall feelings on him have changed a little bit as the season's gone on and the team's picked it up. Mm-hmm. But down 21-0, being at Lucas Oil Stadium.
You did say
really, I did say to you during the game, I was like, this really makes me start to doubt a coach's ability when you have so much pressure on the biggest game your team's played in 5 years. Your team's the hottest it's been in probably 4 or 5 years, with the most talent you've had, playing a division rival, trying to get over the hump, and you come out and they out-game planned us. They out-coached us in the first half, out-game planned us, and your team comes out unprepared, just mentally unfocused, feeling the pressure, and couldn't get it done. That really makes me doubt a coach. And I haven't doubted him all year. I've been sticking by him. But and maybe I was just so hyped about this game that I thought we'd come out and just kind of enforce our will.
Yeah.
And when it didn't happen, I started backfiring. But that's worrisome to me.
It is. And it wasn't just coaches, and this may fall on the coaches too, but it seems like a lot of our players just didn't come ready to play mentally or anything. I'm thinking about DeMarco Murray now. Yeah, he had 70 yards. He had a touchdown reception, but he still seemed a little bit off to me. Like, there was a few runs that I've seen him cut through certain holes, and those holes were there in this game, but instead he would run into the pile for like a 2-yard gain.
Yeah, he has been dealing with a toe injury. I don't want to make excuses for him, but I like to attribute, if your team comes out and doesn't look prepared or, just mentally off, I kind of attribute that to coaching. It's their job to get the team ready, not just one in game planning, but in mentality too, playing a division rival on the road. You got to get your team ready for that. Biggest game in years, playoff hopes on the line, and you completely crap the bed.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing too, when it was well into the second half, and we were trying to make our comeback, and the running game really wasn't that effective for us. Where was Derrick Henry? I felt like we could have put him in the game, given him a few touches, a few runs. He could have provided a spark more for the offense. But instead, I think he got in for a few snaps, so we didn't give him the ball. But we kept DeMarco in there, which, I don't know where the coaching thought process is there. Like, no, our chances are better with DeMarco. We need the veteran on the field. But I felt like Derrick Henry could have provided a spark for a team that started out like we did and getting off so slow.
Exactly. I was actually about to point that out since we're on coaching. I felt like they're not just the whole preparation and laying an egg in the first half, or most of the first half, but there was a lot of questionable decisions throughout the game. Derrick Henry didn't see a ball, didn't see a touch like you mentioned. I don't know. I kind of feel like once we got down 21-0, whether he was like planning on getting him touches, I kind of feel like we just scrapped whatever game plan or whatever lack of game plan we had and just threw it out the window. It's like, okay, let's work from here, which may have attributed to Derrick Henry not being a part of that then, just kind of leaning on our stars to get us back in the game. Also, the fake punt, not a fan of that run. Honestly, I'm a fan. If you want to go for it on fourth down, especially a 4th and 1, even on your side of the field, if you're preaching smash mouth ball and you're, run first team, we have the number 3 rushing offense in the league with top offensive line, I want to see us line up and go for it on 4th and 1. And if we don't get it, which we didn't later in the game, then I think that shows something about our team. But trying to run a gimmicky fake punt just wasn't, in my opinion, the right call in that situation. I felt like we were trying to pull something too much out of the hat, which Indy was ready for.
They were. And I don't think we executed the play very well. It seemed like a slow developing play. I don't know if they just installed that play the last minute during practice last week or something, but it didn't get off to a good start. And even though we did mention when Kevin Byard initially got the ball, it looked like he may have had a better chance of getting the first down before he pitched it over to Valentino Blake. But that's not how the play was obviously designed.
But I'm saying, if we need 1 yard, I will take Murray behind our offensive line, behind LeJuan, Conklin, Spain, Jones.
Clan.
I'll take Murray behind our offensive line to gain a yard 150% of the time over giving the ball to Valentino Blake to get 1 yard. Like,
true.
I don't care the down and I don't care that. Yeah.
You run a play-action play. Mariota's excellent in play-action or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, and then the brain did play on Valentino Blake to try and go after that punt return. Punted. Yeah, punt return. And
he busted. I don't know. Did he? The only way I think that his thought process was he somehow switched his mental side thinking, I'm on coverage team. I need to put this ball down at the 1 or something. There's no explanation for that.
The only explanation I can think of, and this just came to me, would be that once again we were trying to run another fake play where Mariani kind of faked that he was going to get the ball. Because if you look at Valentino Blake, he does kind of streak far down the sidelines like we were trying to fake him out where Mariani kind of led a misdirection and then Blake would get the return and try to make something happen. I just thought of that.
Interesting.
I would now kind of want to watch the play again.
Yeah.
Because Valentino Blake did come out on Twitter and defend himself saying that he was supposed to get the ball on that play, which was very odd, and people started tearing him apart.
Yeah.
Regardless, when the play started developing, he should not have gotten the ball. It bounced within the 3. Colts players all around it. He jumped up to get it. Could have been a disaster.
Yeah. And surely the coaches told him if that situation happens, then don't go near the ball to touch it. If there's already Colts players down there, just stay away from it. Or block a Colts player so the ball maybe bounces into the end zone before they can down it.
Well, and I think this is why it's kind of, I feel like this is a sub-note in our coaching section, because you got to coach your players up. They got to know the situation, know the down and distance, know what the situation is, the scenario is. If it's the ball's punted within the 5-yard line, you get away from it. You don't touch it, especially with Colts players around. Like let them make the mistake. Let them down it at the 3. That's better than muffing a punt or something worse happening. That could have been the game right there. Didn't happen, so we'll move on from it. But
you mentioning down and distance, that reminds me of a particular play, and I'm pretty sure it was our final drive before the Murray 4th and 1. I think we had a 3rd and 3, and the play was a 2-yard out route to one of our receivers. Can we not extend that route one more yard? Like, I don't know if that's coaching or if that's on the receiver. He didn't run far enough, but I thought that was the problem the Titans of old had, just not running routes far enough on 3rd down, and so we'd get 6 yards on a 3rd and 9 or something like that. I thought that problem was behind us, but we saw it again. We did not run the route far enough, and we got tackled a yard short of the 1st down, and then we know what happened when we tried to run with Murray.
Yeah, I think I would attribute that play a little more to, I think Tajay caught it.
It might be.
It was either Tajay or Rashard. Kind of hard to tell from where we were sitting. 18
and their
19.
Numbers are similar.
But yeah, he just running his route too short. Because I thought the initial play, the primary receiver was Murray, who kind of got chopped in the backfield and couldn't get out. So, but I think that's still on the receiver and the quarterback. Got to run your route deeper. Got to know the situation, the scenario. Couldn't convert that 3rd and short. So heartbreaking.
Yeah. Just want to throw that in there with the whole down and distance comment. Whether it's coach up the players to know that at all times, for all plays, we know the situation. Get the 1st down. Be in the right spot to make that conversion. But whatever. Yeah, anyway.
But you want to talk a little bit about defense?
Yeah,
we've hit a lot of offensive things. Rashard Matthews had a great day.
Yeah,
again.
shout out Rashard.
Career high receiving yards for him. Don't want to overlook that. Don't want to overlook Mariota's play. You already mentioned it. Played great again.
The streak of Mariota. He has thrown 2 touchdown passes in 7 straight games now, which is a franchise record going back to the Houston Oilers days. So he's doing things that this franchise has never seen. So he's still trending on the up and up. Go Mariota. We love our boy here at Titans Tube.
Definitely,
Always.
the chemistry with the receivers is still there. Rashard Matthews, Tajay Sharp hasn't got his 2nd touchdown of the career.
Yeah. Rashard Matthews is a quality receiver. He's definitely got that chemistry going with Mariota. He definitely needs to stick around and stay on this team and grow with Mariota.
I mean, we had
let
4 different receivers with over 4 receptions. I know we did kind of speed the pace up a little bit, go the more passing once we were down by so much, so that helped that. But I still like to see that. I still like to see the production of the receivers that we were not seeing at all in the first half of the year. So
Kendall Wright got involved again. Delaney Walker kind of I thought he played kind of not his best game.
That's because it's the Colts, man. They knew that he was our strength. They took it away.
They take away our strengths. It's so frustrating. And Delaney doing some uncharacteristic things, like he had that 15-yard personal foul penalty.
I still don't even know what happened on that.
I think he said something to the ref that he shouldn't have, and so I think that flag put us out of field goal range. Was it that one, or there might have been another penalty? There were bad penalties in the first half.
That's a great point. I meant to mention that. Another thing with mentality, we had crippling penalties time after time where we would convert a 1st down. It got called back multiple times. Lawan, I know, was called for back-to-back holdings on plays. I mean, on the drive one time. Spain was called for a holding. Lot of mental errors.
Fasano had a holding call against him whenever we had a 1st and goal at the 7. I went back and watched that play. Somebody on the Tennessee Titans subreddit posted that play, the replay of the Fasano hold. It was weak call against Fasano. I've seen holding calls much more blatant not be called. So that's just frustrating.
Well, I know, and you mentioned it during the game to me. A lot of these holding plays were, on the other side of the plays developing on the other side of the field, and the holding calls were, being thrown way away from the ball. Like, one, why is that official? Why is the back judge even looking on the opposite side of the field for that holding call? But even you got to realize situation. You're at the opposite side of the field. That guy, there's no way he's going to chase down the runner. Let him go. Don't even risk it. Don't even risk getting the holding call. And it happened time and time again. I thought we kind of imploded there, shot ourselves in the foot. But
But yeah, anyway, yeah. Still, shout out to Mariota. Rashard Matthews came to play. Loving Rashard Matthews this year. Also, DeMarco Murray didn't have his best game, but he came in 70 yards short of his third career 1,000-yard season. He got those 70 yards exactly.
On the dot.
He's sitting at 1,000 yards on the dot. Great. He's the first back since CJ2K, I think, back in 2013,
yeah, I think
2012, to top 1,000 yards for the Titans. One more quick stat for Mariota. He's currently first in the AFC in passing touchdowns. That's our guy. That's my quarterback, Marcus Mariota. First in the AFC in passing touchdowns. Unbelievable. Probably wouldn't be saying that if Tom Brady had not been suspended 4 games, but who cares? And Mariota's played an extra game. But who cares about that?
Doesn't matter.
The stats are stats. He leads the AFC in
This
touchdowns.
is the best season the Titans quarterback has had since Steve McNair. So, and he's going to even surpass that. So, yeah.
This is the best offense we've had probably since
maybe ever.
McNair in 2003, I feel like, in McNair's MVP season. Maybe ever. Who knows? I wish we had the Titans defenses as well with this offense. Then we'd be balling.
Speaking of defense, let's hit on that a little bit. I think we talked about it all year. Weakness is in the secondary. Cornerbacks. Parrish Cox. You gave me the stat. Yeah.
The worst graded player on Sunday out of any player. According to Pro Football Focus, he was the worst player. I think he was targeted 6 times. I think, if I remember this, I don't have the stat in front of me, but he was targeted 6 times. He allowed 6 completions and the touchdown. Inexcusable. I don't know how he allowed that touchdown against T.Y. Hilton. That was huge. That was a 4th down play from the Colts from our 2-yard line. The Colts had the ball. Andrew Luck escaped the pressure, threw it out to T.Y. Hilton, and the ball was right here in Parrish Cox's hands, and then he fell to the ground, and next thing you know, T.Y. has the ball.
Just knock it down, man. Make the play.
You've got to make the play. You're right there. You had good coverage. Just finish the play.
I think that's just something to where we don't have that personnel in the secondary yet to be able to make those plays. And Cox is a glaring example of it, especially on that. He went for the big play, the interception, when a knockdown could have easily ended their drive. Yeah, we would have only gotten the ball in the 1 or the 3 or something.
I get why you go for the interception
But would you rather have the ball?
9 times out of 10, you'd make that play.
I mean, it's the NFL right here. Would you rather have stopped them on the 4th down and get the ball at the 2, giving up, not letting them score,
and start on the 25?
or give up 7 points?
Well, yeah, of course. I would take the ball at the 2-yard line instead of...
I'm just saying, but, if he makes the interception, we get the ball at the 20. Everyone's saying, great play, Parrish Cox, amazing. It didn't happen, so now we're like, dang, he should have knocked it down. Would have loved to just see him in that drive. And, we'll take the ball on the 1 over giving them 7 points.
Either of those two options are way better.
That's just kind of the NFL. If it plays out for you, everyone thinks you're great. If it doesn't, everyone trashes you. So...
yeah.
But secondary was exposed all day. Not just Cox. I mean, McCourty. T.Y. had a great day. I mean, Frank Gore. A few blown coverages.
That was the worst.
Completely in the first half where they, there
was some trick plays, too. They really caught us off guard. They had some crazy trick plays.
But we could see it coming. They had set us up with that wild card set several times. Wildcat. I said wild card. Yeah, the Wildcat set several times. Then finally they used it to perfection where they dished it back to Luck.
They weren't doing that by accident. That's not part of their offense, just to run Frank Gore the Wildcat. They were going to do something like that.
We should obviously have been aware of that, maybe even prepared for it ahead of time if we had some kind of scouting on it. But, I mean, T.Y. Hilton had a great day receiving. Frank Gore had 71 yards receiving and 50 yards rushing.
The big plays.
Dorsett had a 50-yard reception, wide open.
Looking at the long receptions, T.Y. Hilton had a 50-yard catch, Dorsett had a 50-yard catch, and Frank Gore had a 49-yard catch. Those are big, big plays that we gave up that really, really aided and was the biggest factor, I think, in our slow start. Luck had 15 completions for 262 yards. And he had 28 attempts, so that's 9.4 yards per attempt. That is huge. That is big plays that you're giving up. That's killer for defense.
And I will say, if there has been one decent thing about the terrible secondary, is they haven't been giving up those huge pass plays.
Yeah.
I feel like teams are able to chip away at us, all the way down the field, but we haven't given up those kind of pass plays, those huge 50-yard plus plays that we saw multiple times yesterday.
Where was our safeties? Where's Kevin Byard? Where's Kevin Byard this game? I didn't Didn't see him.
And it, I'm going to say it again. It starts up front. Could they get the pass rush going? Jarrell Casey, man, where you at? Arakpo, no sacks. We needed them in these games. Yeah, definitely. I know they probably knew that we were strong in that area and game plan for it. But when it comes down for it, if you want to be the star in the NFL, you got to make some plays. Just couldn't make him yesterday against the division rival in our biggest game. And
we were there. The defense was there, getting pressure on Luck. He was just perfect at escaping. We could not contain him to save our lives.
Yeah, honestly, I guess the one good thing, I don't really have a whole lot to say about the defense. We've kind of preached it all year, bend and not break. We broke a few times in that first half, definitely, but came back to only hold them to 3 points in the second half, so applaud
Amazingly,
that.
They did drop, T.Y. Hilton dropped a bad pass.
Yes, they did.
It was a good pass, but it was a bad
T.Y. dropped a bad pass. I know Andrew Luck missed a wide open Jack Doyle, just overthrew him. Dwayne Allen dropped that one pass early. They could have made it 28-0. So the Colts, they're not a good team, so they're going to have mistakes like that. I can't say that because they beat us. But, Bryce McCain's interception, really nice play. Might have been the brightest spot on defense for us.
That's something else I was going to say, because he got his head around in time. Even a veteran like McCourty, I think I pointed this out during the game, where the ball's thrown up, the receiver is looking back, looking at the ball, and McCourty's just looking at the receiver. I don't know how defensive backs are taught. I'm not a football player or a coach, but I feel like you've got to train your defensive backs, your cornerbacks, to look for the ball or do something. Because I've seen this all year long with our cornerbacks, just running after the receiver, just kind of throwing their hands up as the ball comes in and then makes the tackle. They don't try to, if they can turn their head around and find the ball, they're in position to make the play.
Yeah, I feel like they also need to have some kind of internal clock where, the ball should have been out of the quarterback's hand by now. Mm-hmm. I should turn around and look for it. I know Andrew looks great at extending plays, but our receivers just don't get their heads around. It looks like, when cornerbacks, dang it. I'm all over the place with my words. I'm just calling stuff wrong, wild cards. But they look like, the only time I see this across the scope of the NFL is honestly inside linebackers trying to guard, tight ends or if they're matched up on receivers, because then you see linebackers, doing all they can just to stay with the guy. So, of course, they're not turning their heads around. They're just trying to get their arms up. And that's what our cornerbacks look like. They look like they're just, and maybe it is just a talent disparity between the rest of the league's wide receivers where we don't have that talent yet. So they really are doing all they can just to stay with the guy and not give up big touchdowns. But it's coming back to bite us, and we're giving up the big plays anyway. So,
but shout out to McCain. He did make a textbook great defensive play by getting his head around and getting that ball. Badly needed, huge play for us. That really could have helped us in our momentum, because I think the score was 24-17 at that time, wasn't it? So big play for Bryce McCain, thank goodness. Even though I think he did give up some plays as well in this game.
But we knew our secondary is a point of weakness. I think it's something that we're going to have to address in the offseason, either through the draft or free agency, which I'm looking forward to seeing how we complement that and improve our personnel. It's not something that we're going to fix mid-season. I think our players can stand to play better, and maybe our game plan can work out better. I don't want to attribute it to game plan or defensive scheming, but it's definitely a weakness. I don't think anyone's going to doubt it. We need better players in the secondary.
Yeah,
and maybe some better linemen.
We have 2 first-round picks. Let's spend them both on cornerbacks. I don't care.
Shoot. If one's a bust, maybe the other guy will be decent.
Let's up our odds for hitting with a cornerback in the draft.
All right, closing thoughts, unless you have anything else about the defense.
What was I going to say? I was just going to say about the draft. I'm not a college scout, so I don't know if the cornerback class coming out for this draft is deep or not, or any good. Hopefully it is. I've heard that the wide receiver class isn't as strong as it is most years, but we also do need a wide receiver. But hopefully, we got to address the cornerback position for sure. He helped them to 3 points in the second half, but I do know that's part of the Colts' struggles, is that Chuck Pagano is horrible at making halftime adjustments. So whenever we adjusted to them and what they were doing, they could not readjust and get anything going really on offense or defense. Well, they got enough going on defense because they prevented our last drive from us scoring. But I don't know, we just got to put a complete game together. We had put complete games together against Jacksonville, Green Bay, some of our better wins of the season.
Got to put them together against the AFC South, though, against our own division.
Yeah.
Those are games that matter.
I said Jacksonville, but it's Jacksonville this year. They have been so disappointing. But you know what? Putting this into context, we are improving. I know we say that every week after wins and losses. This team is 5-6 now. Playoffs are all but out of reach, but we're the ultimate optimist. I'm not going to give up on the playoffs.
It's the NFL. Crazy things happen every week.
We gotta root hardcore for the Raiders Monday night. I think by the time you watch this video, because Monday night is tonight. So by the time this video comes out, that game will already be played. So hopefully the Raiders will have won. Got to root hard for the Steelers on Thanksgiving, so we do need help with the Colts and Texans both losing games. And they do have difficult schedules, but of course we got to win our games. But I'm not giving up on the season at all. I want to make the playoffs. Screw tanking or whatever and getting a better draft pick. We can let the Rams tank.
If you had the chance to make the playoffs, I think you should always go for it. I think that's every team's goal going into the season because once you make the playoffs, you have no idea what can happen. So I think now it's more on we just need to focus on getting our job done and then letting those puzzle pieces fall into place. Whether they do or they do not, it's now more out of our hand than it is in our hands. We just need to focus on taking care of our business, winning as many possible games as we can out of the remaining we have. We got some big games coming up. We still have division games coming up. Got to take care of business, continue to improve, and then, if the playoffs, it's going to have to kind of fall into our lap. If that happens, then we take advantage of it. That's what the NFL is, taking advantage of the moment you're in.
Yeah, for sure. We will know a lot fairly soon. The plan is we got to take care of business against Chicago next week, and we'll know by then whether Houston and the Colts have lost their games Monday night and then on Thanksgiving. And then we have a bye week, so we could be 6-6, beating a bad Bears team, hopefully, this next Sunday. Then we have a bye week. We can see kind of the playoff picture unfold a little bit more during our bye week. And if the Colts and or Texans drop another game during our bye week, then things can start to get interesting again. Because then we have Denver coming to town, which will not be easy at all. Denver's a very good team, got a very good defense, but we'll have a more clear-cut picture to see if we do maybe have a chance again by the time we play Denver. But we got to start by beating Chicago.
Yeah, and I know we talked about it yesterday, but if I had to kind of give a summary for the team right now in the game, because we were really upset after the game, getting some food, just kind of, complaining about all what went wrong. And then we kind of reeled it in. We're like, you know what? It's good to have the feeling we had yesterday of being extremely disappointed and let down and start nitpicking like what went wrong, because this is the most excitement that's been around the Titans team in years. We've won as many games this year as we have total the past 2 seasons. We have a great young quarterback. We have great young talent across the board. I don't want to bite off a bigger piece than I can chew of just my hopes and aspirations for this team.
Nice analogy.
The fact that they're generating this kind of excitement, seeing this kind of growth and rehabilitation in the whole franchise is great. And I think we should latch onto that and focus there. And learn from these mistakes, learn from these clutch losses, these critical losses, and it was a big game. I would have loved to see us take it, but we're a young team across the board, learning how to play together,
learning how to win.
It'll come, and it sucks because you think it can happen this year with what we've seen, but when it doesn't happen, I just feel like you have to remember that. We're a young team. We're growing. There's going to be some growing pains. There are in the league. You don't see a team with the first pick in the draft, change it around this season, all of a sudden make the playoffs, win their division. Hardly ever. I'm not going to say it's never happening because
the Cowboys kind of
are
doing that.
But
that's a crazy situation.
That was more just like they lost their quarterback kind of thing.
Yeah,
but
and their offensive line is
that's rare. It takes years to build up a franchise.
If I can say that, I think that's a really, really good point. That losing like this is crushing and more devastating than it has been, which I think is a good thing. Yep. That means we're getting better, and these games are bigger for us. So whenever we lose, yes, it does hurt that much more, but it means that your team is in contention and playing for something, especially this late in the season. Whereas the last 2 years, whenever we'd lose games, it's like, we're not very good. We're kind of used to it. Whenever we win, we'd be jumping off the walls. That's kind of how it was, but it's a good thing whenever losing now is crushing, whenever you are playing for something.
So, I know it seems at times like we take 2 steps forward and then 3 steps back, But you got to think the scope of the season. We've taken steps forward across the board. Offensively, especially huge steps, huge leaps and bounds from the previous seasons. We got to keep on rolling with this team. Rolling. Good things are in the future.
It is coming into focus. We're getting our identity. We have an identity this year. I mean, that's huge progress.
Identity, great young talented quarterback. A lot of pieces to a well-developing puzzle that could look amazing.
Yeah, we're one win away from entering December with a 500 record. That is astounding progress from 5 total wins in the last 2 years combined. We could be playing some meaningful football in December. That's so exciting.
Looking even farther ahead, we have 2 first-round picks in next year's draft.
Boom.
We're only going to continue to add pieces to where we need them. Clean up areas. I know our defense is weak. We can improve that in the offseason. Start filling in these gaps and holes. We just can't expect all of our problems to go away that have been there for years in one season. So we've made strides forward.
We're putting the pieces in place. We do have pieces on this team that we think can be long-time contributors. We have established franchise players on this team, and we just got to continue building other pieces around those pieces.
God, we're so optimistic.
We're such a good team.
We always talk ourselves at the end of the episode where I'm just like, yeah, go Titans!
Yes, I can't wait until this next game.
Well, that's about all I have. You got anything else, man?
Should we mention, Happy Thanksgiving? That's coming up. We have Thanksgiving plans. You're going out of town. We might be taking a break, but we're going to, break down the Bears game. We're going to have a quick preview episode with that. We're still going to do our weekly picks video. Hopefully we don't lose that much ground, but yeah. We're trying.
We are taking a little bit of a bye week here, just because it is Thanksgiving. We want to spend time with friends and family. You should too. So I know there will be no rapid rundown video this week, and abbreviated preview episode and some other episodes. But thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Go Titans.
Go Titans. Don't give up hope. Believe.
Gotta believe.
This team, we have Mariota.